good morning, everyone. How y'all are doing? All right. It's third day, 10th of March. On Friday morning, I'm meeting y'all. So today I'm going to talk about the power of validation. Oh, sorry, this slide is hang on here. All right. I'm going to talk about the power of validation. Validation. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about the word validation. It's something like something which has been quite popular right now. Which, we do acknowledge in the terms of validation, especially when we talk about feelings, thoughts, and emotion. I'm just going to briefly, little bit explain about what is validation before we proceed to our next topic about this. Okay. Validation is learning to understand and expressing acceptance of another person's emotional experience. Validation does not mean that you need to agree with whatever the person is saying. It's not that. You just need to recognize and understand your loved one's thoughts and feelings. It also, in order to understand their sensation and also their behavior. When you take time to learn and understand how someone feels, it um, uh, help them to feel better, help them to feel that they are accepted, and also at the same time feel that they whatever emotion they are emoted is all right and they are good about that. So okay, in order to explain further, we'll move on to next slide. Okay. Emotional validation means that you're acknowledging another person's emotion, thought, experience, values, and belief. So it does not mean, when someone did something wrong and they're feeling guilty about that, and and also you acknowledge them, you agree with that. No, that's not validation. You at that moment when someone did something and they're feeling guilty about that, you are there, you're saying that it's okay. You are there, you have done this because of certain issues, because of certain reasons. That's how you validate them. You explain to them saying that it's all right. You are there for them. You don't need to worried about that situation. This kind of thing. It's not about the repeating back what the person said. You say, I am sad. Oh, you also repeat back the same. Oh, are you sad? And no, it's not validation. All right. So validation involves validating without escalating the emotion, which means you when the person is expressing their feelings, when you are there, when you're validating them, they are supposed to lesser, they're supposed to, when the person, for example, when the person is crying, when you're validating them, they're supposed to lesser the crying. It's not when you validate them, they cry even more. So that's not validation, right? The way to do that is more focusing on the primary emotion or the other person is experiencing. You have to identify what kind of emotion they are currently, and how does that, can you, from your hand, how do you can help from your end in order for them to feel better about that situation. For example, emotions such as anger, anxiety are the secondary emotion because they are easy to recognize. You because when someone is behaving, when someone is angry and the behavior definitely shows what they really want and all that. From that you can could recognize. But as validating, what are you supposed to do is to identify those underlying emotions. For example, when they are angry, when they're feeling anxiety, so what is the underlying why they are angry? So that is your role in order to validate someone. That is your role to identify, to to be with them and identify why the person is getting angry. What are the reasons for their anger? What are the reasons for their anxiety? So this will definitely help them to display their emotional response. When you ask them why are you angry, and when they will literally explain to you their situation and why it makes them anger and all these things. So that will be literally, it's a place for them to vent out at the same place. At the same time, they feel better because there is someone to listen to them. There is someone, it's like a backup, for them. So that is also kind of validation. Okay, why validation is important? Validation is essential to meaningful connection. We all need validation at one time or another. Consistent and purposeful validation help us to build relationship. Okay, what do they mean by build relationship? For example, when your friend, when I talk about validation, it not necessarily only revolves in romantic relationship. It also revolves in all kind of relationship. When you validate them, it makes them realize that their feelings matters too, and this can boost their self-worth. They feel better about themselves, that they feel like, okay, there is someone for me. A person who feels emotionally validated manage their emotion more very effectively. They won't feel guilt or ashamed or even embarrassed to feel such way. They will feel, oh, okay, this is normal, everybody feels this way when they're angry. It also helps them to accept themselves better without feeling ashamed. They don't have this self blame. We also see a lot of self blaming when we have a friend, someone to talk about their situation, their experience. They say, oh, this is because of me. If I've never done this will not happen. This kind of things, right? So that is very important. That's why one of the reason why validation is important in relationship. Validation is not about communicating, it's more into understanding and helping the person feel more accepting and open for a change. It's not about communicating. Just communicate like that. Oh yes, it's not, you said, okay, I understand you feel this way, I still accept you, it is okay to feel this way. You make them. And also, after one point, you have to explain to them, maybe at that situation they feel such way, maybe after for a while, maybe like an hour or 2 hour, or maybe day after tomorrow. When you talk to them, you explain to them what they behave. Is that correct way? You literally make them to speak. For example, whatever they behave, is that the proper way to behave? Okay. The best way to know whether you're validated or reinforcing is by observing how validation is being received and what's happening with their behavior. Is it okay for you to identify whether you are validating enough the person or not, whether you're doing a good job or not? Okay, in short term, we are going to say that whether you're doing a good job or not, you can see when the person's feeling is from the way they behave. Is it increasing, decreasing, or staying same over the time? For example, when a person is depressed due to some reason in their life, so when you're there, when you're validating, if you're doing a good job, I think definitely the way they behave, when they even come and tell you that, "Oh, no, I feel better." So the way you're validating is good, it is working. If you feel it is increasing, then you really need to look into it for something else, to work on it. If it stays over time also, maybe they need pretty much more time to validate, to come out from that situation. Okay, when we validate someone's feeling, we allow them to safely share their feelings and thought. When you validate them, so they feel like, oh, it's nice to talk to this person. When I talk to them, they listen to me, they understand my situation. So we are assuring them that it's okay to have the feelings they have. Still accept them after they have shared their feelings. We respect their perception. So these kind of feelings you will bring to another person, for the opposite person. When you are there, they will feel, okay, the person is like that. So any situation they go through, any issues, any problem they have, they will definitely will not feel afraid to come and share with you again, because you are there to assure them. You feel, you give them the situation that they are feeling is accepted, this is normal. You give them the situation that they are feeling is hurt. You acknowledge, you understood. So these are the important thing. It's not that does not mean you need to agree with them. You're just there. Okay, I know, I understand you're feeling sad, you're angry, you're frustrated, I am here for you. This kind of things on people does really look as a very important factor in relationship. It is not a sign of sign of agreement. You just say, okay, I'm here. Not necessarily. Some people are really not good. Some people are not really very good at words. They don't say, they are not good at saying that, I'm here for you. So it does not mean that it only revolves under in communication. It can go beyond that. So you can just give them a gentle hug, a gentle pat on the back of their shoulder, you say, by holding their hand. These kind of things also known as validation. Sometimes it's not means being patient with the other person. It's not ready to talk. It's kind of the feedback that you give to that person. Sometimes you literally listen to them, whatever their feelings, they are venting, they would like to share and all that. So when we validated someone, we allow them to safely share their feelings and thoughts, so they don't feel bad about that. This is why invalidation is too dangerous and harmful. When we invalidate someone's feeling, the message people get, okay, so when you don't validate them, the message people get is, oh, okay, I'm feeling this way, so something is wrong in me, I am wrong. They started to self blame themselves, especially when in a very good relationship. Things, if you didn't if you invalidate their feelings, it cause a damage to the relationship. They feel something is wrong about them. Oh yeah, this person says that, you know they got a wrong feeling about themselves, they feel bad about themselves. That's where the self blaming started to play its role. Okay, invalidation has been suggested as one of the most primary reason people's mental problem, including cutting, burning, and injuries behavior. So sometimes when people feel, oh, I'm angry. So when someone is in front of you is angry or is frustrated, when you don't go and make them feel better, they feel, okay, I know something is wrong about me, I know this is wrong, this kind of thought they have. So that's how they might lead to self harm themselves. They were taught at an early age. Okay, some of them also have this kind of experience in their childhood, where their parents or someone who they have guided, their guidance, or anybody who have done with them, ever give them this thought, that you cannot feel such way, you cannot feel angry, you cannot express your anger, you cannot express your sadness. So they have been governed in such situations since young. So they learned that certain feelings were not allowed in abusive, yeah, especially in abusive homes. They may have been severely punished for expressing certain thoughts and feelings. So these people, once they grow up, they started to compress their emotion, their feeling inside them. They feel, they what they feel is like, oh yeah, I shouldn't feel this way. So that's where, when you don't validate, so the invalidation becomes more stronger, and they tend to keep all their feelings inside themselves. So, there is this saying I come across. This reminds me of something someone told me once in a while. The best gift we can give to our children is validation of their feelings. So, we need to validate to them, saying that I do understand you're struggling because due to your exam stress, and I do understand. These are the example of validation. No worries. I'm gonna explain further about what are the example statement we can use in validation, and example statement of invalidation as well. Right. How does emotional validation contribute to happiness and well being? Given the emotion occupies a central place in the scientific literature, let's look on how emotional validation impacts our happiness. One of the primary functions of emotional validation is to create a safe space where other person comfortably explore and understand their feelings. Okay, what kind of safe space you create for them is you listen with an open mind, because everybody have a different experience of something. You listen to them without judging. Instead of you interrupting them, you don't interrupt when they're talking. That is also you providing a safe space for them. Show them that you care for them, holding their hands, and as I explained earlier, simple tap on the shoulder encouragement. Match their mood with energy. Okay, what they mean by match their mood and energy is, when someone come and very excitedly say, I did very well in my exam, I passed with flying colors. So you also emote the same amount of energy. Oh yeah, I'm happy for you. That's supposed to be. Say, oh, is it? You make them feel, oh, how this person is not happy with my. I mean, it's not happy for me. That's not how we are supposed to invalidate them. So these are the examples. And also sharing their enthusiasm is another way for showing them that you care for them. Apart from all these things, there is one most important thing that you can validate the situation in a more better way. Ask them further questions. For example, how long have you been dealing with this situation? How are you feeling right now? Have you taken any strategies to overcome this? Because sometimes we tend to feel, oh, this is a small matter, but we also need to understand different human beings behavely in a very different situation. Different people react differently in a similar situation. I might get hurt for my, for my car broke down. For another person, it might be a small situation. It does not matter. It's just the matters how you validate. Okay, maybe because we are very different, our emotion, our experience, all these thoughts that we have grown up, it plays a very different role in different ways. Yeah. All right. People receive emotional validation, experience a boost in emotional self-efficacy, which means when you validate someone's feeling, you help them to gain confidence. They can cope with unpleasant, you literally help them to say, no, this is fine, you can cope this, these kind of things. The same thing can happen to you if you spend time with people who can validate your feelings. Okay, right now I'm also talking about you validating someone. So definitely when you validate someone, they will definitely do the same thing towards you. Long story short, emotional validation cultivates emotional regulation, which means you're able to regulate emotion. You don't overreact, things like that. You can handle yourself and all that. How to validate someone's feeling? Okay, so these are a few examples how you can validate to them. Give them verbal response by showing that you're listening to me, as I told earlier, like is nodding your head, okay, this kind of things. And also use body language to show them that you're listening. Look at them, turn your head over, entire body towards them when they're talking to you. You may want to stop whenever else, whatever else you're doing. Some people you can see when they're talking to them, they'll be engaging in some activity while replying. Okay, that can be when the conversation in a very ease mode. You can find the person is when you're having a very normal conversation, that should be fine. But when someone is more into emotional devoted in terms of they're feeling happy or they're feeling sad, of course you need to concentrate on what the person is talking and looking towards them. And yeah, not forgotten, stay present. The most basic form of validation is to stay with them even when they are feeling difficult or unpleasant. Put aside your discomfort and focus entirely on being there for them. Here are some of the ways that you show: holding their hands, directly looking at them, sitting with them or rubbing their back, saying that I'm here. So these are the examples of validation. All right, so as I told you earlier, so this is the example of emotionally validating statement. See, wow, I'm truly sorry to hear that. Do you need anything? How can I help you? I can understand why you feel lost. You must be feel devastated. This kind of things. Even though you feel lost, know that I'm here for you. We can talk about this for as long as you need. Sometimes we need we receive messages from our friends, family members, saying that I'm a little bit down, I'm afraid I can't do this. So these are the emotionally validating statement. This is an example. There is actually plenty a lot on the internet. You can just Google if you're not sure about that. So these are the few examples of emotionally validating statement that you could provide to your friends, family members, to whoever, so you feel that they need validation. All right. So, and also, please totally avoid of using such statements. So you can look at the example here. Chill, you're not the first person who it gets dumped. This one is especially on relationship. What did you do to her? Let's not make a big deal out of it. You need to get over her. She's not worth it. I think you should, when you're trying to, you should, this kind of, you are literally compressing your opinion or your thoughts on someone else. Okay, this statement can be used when the person is totally normal. There is no any emotionally situation is emotional situation related. For example, you're having a very normal face conversation with your friend, then this should be fine. But when the person is down or to, when the person is highly emoted in terms of emotion, so this is not encouraged. These statements are not encouraged because this will make them feel bad about themselves. All right. So okay, this is just a few questions for you. What works best for you in your relationship? How are you validating those who are care about you? So these are the questions for you to reflect in terms of your relationship. So try to think about what other things that you have. How have you been validating your partners? How your partners has been validating you? So I believe this topic will brings a little insight about you, or why validation is important in terms of relationship and how it makes someone to feel about that. All right. Thank you for joining today's Lighthouse. Thank you, and don't forget to fill up the scoreline form along. I'll be shared around right now. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. I will see you all soon. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.